A Republican former congressman who went to prison for tax evasion now running for his old seat because he says he wants to help President Trump drain the swamp. But will voters forgive and forget? Michael Grimm was first elected to Congress back in 2010 to represent Staten Island and parts of Brooklyn here in New York City. He was known for his hard-nosed style and once had a heated run-in with a reporter when asked about his campaign finances. In 2014, he pleaded guilty to a single count of felony tax fraud in federal court and served 7 months behind bars, an experience he called the worst in his life. Grimm is an ex-Marine, an ex-FBI agent, an ex-congressman, an ex-businessman, and an ex-con. Can voters look past the fact? With us now, Michael Grimm. Congressman, good to see you, sir, and welcome back to the Fox Business Network.
Thanks for having me, Judge. It's good to see you again.
Why would anybody vote for you with your criminal record, particularly when you are looking to unseat a conservative Republican who votes just the way President Trump would happily want him to vote?
Well, I have to reject the premise of that question. First of all, my opponent is not a conservative Republican. He voted against the health care reform, to repeal and replace Obamacare. He voted against the Sanctuary City bill. So the idea that he's conservative is absolutely false. But I think that the main reason why my constituents would vote for me again is, number one, it has to be in context. They know that it was a political witch hunt, that what I did was wrong, but it was a civil matter. I was the first and only restaurant owner in the history of New York City to ever be criminally charged for having delivery boys off the books. I mean, that's really what all this stems from having a handful of delivery boys off the books at a Manhattan restaurant, which has always been a civil fine for everyone but the Republican congressman from New York City.
All right, you have accused the Obama Justice Department of targeting you because you were a Republican congressman. But did you, in fact, do what you pleaded guilty to doing in federal court here in New York City?
Well, first of all, yes, 100% I was absolutely targeted by the Obama Justice Department. The entire Justice Department was weaponized against me. They went on a witch hunt. And what did they find? They found a handful of delivery boys off the books at my Manhattan restaurant where I had two partners and I was a minority owner. Was it wrong? Absolutely. But what is the penalty for that? Historically, again, up until my case, there's over 10,000 cases on the books. All of them were civil fines by the Department of Labor, and I deserved a civil fine by the Department of Labor. 100%.
But those other restaurant owners who paid the civil fines are not running for Congress. How do you confront this on the campaign trail, the stigma of having spent 7 years in a federal prison as a known former FBI agent in the presence of many people who were sent there by your former colleagues, FBI agents?
You face it head on, and I just want to correct you. I think you said 7 years instead of 7 months.
I'm sorry, it was 7 months. I beg your pardon.
Judge.
Correct.
It's not a problem, Judge. It was 7 months, and it was horrible. But again, I think people are more upset with the fact that I was targeted for a civil matter, and it was turned corruptly into a criminal matter. Now, you're a judge. You know that. I mean, everyone should be treated exactly the same under the law.
Right.
No one should be singled out simply because later in life they became a congressman. This happened years before I was in Congress. I was not in office. I was not an FBI agent at the time. I was not a United States Marine active duty at the time.
Okay, I get your argument.